Hello, welcome to another episode of Cooking with Shanae, your cooking diva. Today I'll be showing you how to make ackee and saltfish. Since I'm Jamaican and ackee and saltfish is the national dish, it's only right for me to show you how to make it. I'll be using a can of ackee because I'm not on the island, so we don't have access to the ackee on the tree. But the canned ackee will suffice for now. I'll be using saltfish, which is codfish. I'll be using about a half a pound of saltfish to the can of ackee. And I have my seasonings that I'll be using to make the ackee and saltfish extra tasty. I'll be serving it with some fried dumplings, and I'll be showing you how to make that too. So let's get right into it. I'm going to be washing my saltfish off. And this is about a pound of saltfish. If you want your ackee and saltfish to serve for more people, you can just add more saltfish. So you have to wash the saltfish off to get off the excess salt, and then you're going to boil it. I'll be boiling it 3 times to make sure that all the excessive salt is taken out of the codfish. And you want to have enough water in the pot just to cover the saltfish. Then I'm going to put it on the stove and I'm going to have it boil. Once it starts boiling up, that's when I'm going to throw off that water and then add fresh water to it. So like I said, I'm going to do it about 3 times. While the saltfish is boiling, I'm going to get my flour and start prepping to make my fried dumplings. Okay, so for my fried dumpling, I'll be using approximately 2 cups of flour, a pinch of salt, baking powder, butter, and some milk. You can use whole milk if you like. I'm just using lactate milk because that's what I have. So I'm going to use, first thing, when you're making dumplings, you want to make sure you wash your hands extra good. If you have fingernails, you get under your fingernails before you knead the dumpling. Okay? Okay. So that's what I'm going to do first. I'm going to, even though my hands are clean, I'm going to wash them again. Alright, so let's get right into it. And I'm using all-purpose flour. I do not like to use the baking flour. It has a salty taste to it, so I prefer to use the all-purpose flour. Depending on how many fried dumplings you're gonna make, this is 2.5 cups of flour. I think I need a little bit more. So let's say I use approximately 3 cups of flour. Because you know, us Caribbean people, we don't really measure stuff. We really just know what to use, to be honest. I'm going to be adding my baking powder. One tablespoon. I'm going to use 2 tablespoons of baking powder because you want your dumplings to be nice and soft. You don't want them to be hard. I'll be using a half a stick of butter for margarine. Now for the salt. Let's see, about a half a, like I said, I don't normally measure. So what I do is I take the butter and break it up in the flour before I add the milk and the water. I'm just going to break up the butter in the flour, and pretty much you're just mixing the baking powder, the salt. You're just mixing it together while you break up the butter. Meanwhile, the saltfish is boiling. You want to turn the fire down low, because if you don't, then the saltfish will boil over. When I'm cooking in the kitchen, I really don't leave out of the kitchen. It's the safe thing to do. So now that the butter is broken up, I'm going to be adding my milk. I would say about a 1/4 cup of milk. And then I'll be adding water. Now with the water, you're going to add the water as you go along, because you don't want your dumplings to be too soft. So it's like while you're kneading the flour, you're just going to add the water. I'm just going to throw a little bit of water. And like I said, you have to estimate how much water to use. I don't think you'll need more than a cup of water or a cup and a half of water. It depends on how many dumplings you're making. And I'm just kneading the flour. If you feel like your mixture is too soft, you can always add like a spoonful of flour. You just want a good consistency with the water, the milk, and the flour. And it's starting to come together already, guys. In Jamaica, we would say I'm kneading the flour in a pudding pan. And you're just going to keep kneading and kneading till all your flour comes together and you don't have any loose particles of flour. Everything should come together in the dough. This is a lot of fried dumplings. And a little bit more water, just a tap. So here I'm just gonna throw off the salted water and add some fresh water to the saltfish. Just be careful not to burn yourself as you're throwing off the water off the saltfish. And now I just added back more water, fresh water to the saltfish. I'm just going to let it boil again and then pour that off and change the water one more time. And now I'm going to get my pan and my oil ready to start frying my dumplings. And the baking powder, it's going to make your dumplings rise. You don't want to make them too big. So now I'm just going to add the dumplings to the oil because the oil is hot. And you can make them different sizes. You want to turn down the fire to a medium heat because you don't want your dumplings to get brown and they aren't fried on the inside. So turn down the fire to medium heat. So some of the fried dumplings, I'm just going to turn them. What you want to do is turn them on the other side. You don't want them to burn. And they'll have a nice golden color. And then you're going to cover the frying pan so the dumplings can soak. So the ones that you placed in the oil first, you're going to turn those over. Fried dumplings take about approximately maybe 10 minutes to fry. It might even be less than that, but you just want to make sure that the dumpling is soaked on the inside. So that's why we cover the frying pan to get the dumplings to soak. You don't want them to burn up. And I said medium fire, but we've turned it down on low to make sure the dumplings soak. And now I'm going to throw off that water off the saltfish and add my third water. And also, even though the ackee in the can is already cooked, I like to boil the ackee a little bit. We call it scalding in Jamaica. That's just my preference because the ackee is in the can in the brine. And I like to just boil it a little bit for a few minutes, 2 or 3 minutes, just to scald it off to get that taste from the can off of the ackee. That's just me personally. So just showing you how the fried dumplings are looking. Nice. And you're just going to take the fork and you're going to turn some of your dumplings to the side to make sure it's soaked all the way around. But don't they look good? Yep, like I said, fire is on low to make sure the dumplings soak really good. Cover it back up. Okay, so some of these fried dumplings are ready to come out now. Like I said, you're going to put it on the side and make sure they fry all the way around. You can take out some of them. They should be soaked by now. I think it's been roughly about 15 minutes. You see the fork going right through them because they're nice and soft. Yeah. Those need to soak a little bit more. Yeah, 2 more. So, I've boiled the saltfish 3 times, so now I'm just going to take out the saltfish. I'm going to place it in some cold water. The saltfish has scale on it, so you have to scrape off the scale and debone it. But now I'm going to add my ackee to the boiling water. I drained the brine off, and I'm adding the ackee to the hot water. And like I said, just for 2 minutes, because the ackee is already cooked and you don't want the ackee to break up too much. So, see, the saltfish has scale. So you have to scrape the scale off of the saltfish. Hey. I'm taking out the bone, like the saltfish, taking the bone. And you're breaking up the saltfish. Just going through, taking off this scale off of it. You see there are more bones, and you're just taking out the bone out of the saltfish. So you're deboning the saltfish. You're gonna, at this point, I can turn the fire off on the ackee, and I'm just gonna drain the ackee and drain the saltfish, cut up my seasonings, and then fry up your ackee and your saltfish. So I'm just gonna turn off the stove and drain the ackee. You just want to be careful because it's hot. I'm going to drain off the water off the saltfish. Okay, we're going to put that to the side. And now I'm just going to cut up my seasoning that I need to use for my ackee and saltfish. And all my vegetables are already washed. I'm using sweet pepper, red sweet pepper. I'll cut them up in small pieces. Not the seed, I'm not using the seed. I have tomato. And if you're someone that you like a lot of tomato, you can always add more. If you like more onion, more tomato, you can always add more to what I'm using. I usually use like a quarter of a sweet pepper. Sometimes I use 2 tomatoes because I personally like a lot of tomatoes in my ackee and saltfish. And I have 2 stalks of eskellion. I'm just going to cut them up real small. And all this this is gonna just give the ackee and saltfish a nice flavor. The onion, you have to peel the onion and then just slice it up. I'm giving you details of how to do everything so you can try the dish at home. And if you like it, you can share the recipe with your friends. And you just slice in the onions. I cook with a lot of seasonings. I love it. I like the smell of it. I like the taste of it in the food. Okay. Now, hot pepper. If you like your food spicy, you can cut up as much hot pepper in it. If you don't, you can just leave the pepper whole. Still gonna get the flavor, and thyme. And thyme is like that stick. But the thyme has a nice flavor to it. And like I said, I like a lot of tomato, so I'm using 2 tomatoes in my ackee and saltfish because I like it. And I'm gonna get right into preparing the finished product. And I have my pot. It's already washed and clean. Turn my stove on. You're going to get it to get hot. And then add some cooking oil. And I still had a few more fried dumplings over here that I'm checking on. So I added my seasonings to a cup of, about a half a cup of oil. And as I was saying, I use vegetable oil. You can use canola oil. But I used my onion, tomato, eskellion, and thyme. And I'm just going to let it saute. Then I'm going to add the saltfish once the vegetables are cooked. So I'm just stir frying. It's starting to smell really good already. As you can see, looking good. I'm letting the tomato and stuff fry out a little bit before I add the saltfish. Now, I soaked my saltfish in cold water and added a tip of vinegar to help to get rid of the salt. So the saltfish is drained. Now I'm going to add my saltfish. And I'm just stirring everything up. Just gonna let the saltfish fry out a little bit, simmer, saute a little bit with the vegetables before I add the ackee. Okay, so now that our sawfish has been sauteing, I'm going to add the ackee that has been drained. I'm going to add some black pepper. I like a lot of black pepper in my ackee, so I would say half a tablespoonful of black pepper. Really, I don't use a spoon. I just sprinkle all over it until I think it's enough. And don't forget my complete seasoning. I love this thing. I put this thing on everything. Gives it a nice flavor. About a teaspoon of complete seasoning. And I have my pepper. And you're just stirring, like gently stirring, mixing up the ackee and the sawfish together. And I'm just gonna let it simmer for about 2 to 3 minutes. If you like pepper, you can cut the pepper in it. If you like a lot of hot pepper. I personally, I like to cover it. Just let it simmer for like 2 minutes. Okay, and it's ready. Jamaican ackee and saltfish. All done. Golden brown fried dumplings.